Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream again. We are still doing unlock tree stuff. Working on Alchemortis, which is my dark fantasy roguelite auto battler where you can use alchemy to create your own builds and synergies. The Steam page is linked below, but I won't go through the whole ad rigmarole today. We already did that this morning. Hello Clickertail, welcome. I can't highlight your message unfortunately, but welcome, welcome. Alrighty, so we're working on the unlock menu. I did end up adding an inspector for the unlock tree items. So if I go here, we can inspect these things. There's a lot of problems with it still, but it works. I can right click to inspect things. It's a little bit redundant for artifacts, but that's all right. Anyway, the big one to figure out is the characters. But the card bundles works. The item bundles work just fine. So that's good. So yeah, a lot of stuff to clean up here, but generally speaking, it works. And we just got to figure out the characters now. So what I want to do with the characters is I already have this character information panel here. And I think if I could generalize this character information panel, this would work really well in that menu, I think. So let me actually do something really quick. Go into the game here. Yeah, so if I just do this panel basically here, I think that would be okay. So we've got this unlock item inspector. We've got a content container. Yeah, so this here basically is what I need. So I wonder if I should do... I wonder if I should do, like, save this as a scene. Let's call this... Character content container, save branches scene. I guess I'll just save it here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay, character content container. We had a script here. Create that. Hello, welcome back to the stream. Good to see you. UI.character select. So we've got a character content container. All right, so now I need to go to the... What did I call this? Oh, I hate that. Godot, please fix that. Character information. Health, blood, board, artifact, flavor text, and display name. So we've got board, display name, flavor text, health, blood. Artifact display placeholder, I think that's it. Okay. Cut those out, paste those in here. Okay, card container scene. What? What? Am I even using this? Character information. No, I'm not. I don't even know what that is. Okay, get rid of that. Get rid of this. Okay, character information, scroll container, character content container. Okay. So this becomes character content container. Oh, this is going to work beautifully because I can just take this now. Oops, cut that out of there. Put this in here. And then we want to grab this. Put this in ready. Artifact displays. So I am going to need actually this one. Put that in there. Artifact display placeholder. Is this still load as placeholder? Yeah. Okay. This can be a read-only list. We need link. We need the artifact registry. Empty container dot visible. So these need to go back. Oh, I guess I should take these, move those out. Okay, so character definition resource. We're going to want to do character content container dot configure. Oh, is it called update for character? Character definition resource, empty container, character content container. Okay. And we can get rid of all these unused usings. What am I still missing here? Card factory. Okay. So now in character select, or actually character information, update for character. Oh, wait. Character select. Probably have an error here. Configure. We're going to rename this to configure as well. All right, let's see if that works. Character select. So the refactor ideally shouldn't have affected this screen in any noticeable way. We got an error here. Why does this keep happening? I don't understand. Let's just go back through the normal flow. Hello, Smedis Highlights. How did you get into asset creation and animation design as you started off as a software engineer? The art thing seems to be the obstacle to me. Any advice? Yeah, I think the way I got into art is I just decided to do it. Art is a skill that can be learned like any other. And while becoming the world's greatest fine artist may be something that's out of reach, you can definitely get to the point through regular practice and study where you can create presentable, coherent, visually appealing art. Like, I don't think Alchemortis is going to win any art awards, but it certainly has a coherent art style that works, where everything is presented in a relatively good way. Well, everything that I've polished up anyway. There's a lot of gaps here, but I think you know what I'm saying, right? So, yeah, my advice is just to get started, to treat it like any other skill that you would learn. I think people people have this tendency to think of art as like this magical thing where you're either born with the capability to do art or you're not. But nobody thinks of any other skill like that, right? Nobody ever thinks about riding a bike and says, well, some people are just born able to ride a bike and some people aren't. It's like, no, you can learn how to do that, right? You can learn how to play a sport even though you may not become a professional or even that great of a sport, an athlete. And it's the same with art. It's the same with programming, right? Like some people are really good programmers and they have an aptitude for it, but other people can learn enough programming where they can make something work, and that's fine too. So art is the exact same way. It's just a skill that you can learn. You can get relatively good at it. You can get competent at it. And you just have to start. You just have to watch tutorials, practice. That's it. Hello, Lukey. Feeling better from yesterday? I am, thank you. Yeah. Feeling a little bit better, that's good. Okay, so this character scene is good to go. There's a lot of work to do on these things. That's okay, because we're not focused on that. This one is what we're interested in. So we're going to instantiate character content container, placeholder, access as unique name, load as placeholder. Okay, so then in here, if unlock definition resource is var content is equal to private instance placeholder, character content placeholder. Is that what I called it? Character content container placeholder, I guess. Character content container placeholder dot create instance as character content container content dot configure with character unlock definition resource. Oh, character. I need to get the character resource. And then I can pass that in here. Okay. All right, let's see if that works. Any tips for learning Godot and making the content stick? I've been trying to learn 2D, but it seems like everything I want to do needs a new tutorial. Oh, look at that. That works pretty good. Yeah, I mean, at some point for learning, I think what you need to do is you need to go off on a limb. You kind of need to take the training wheels off, so to speak, and just try to go in with what you know and try to figure things out on your own. And only fall back to tutorials when you're really stuck, right? That is the way that you're going to internalize a lot of the lessons, is you kind of have to go in, implement it the way that you think is appropriate to implement it. And then as you're working through that, or as you're implementing it, you're going to encounter problems and you're going to have to figure out solutions to those problems on your own. But that's how you learn, right? Like you encounter problems, you figure out a solution, and now you remember for next time what pitfalls you encountered when you did things a certain way, or how you did things in a certain way that actually ended up being good. Interesting. That shifts the whole view. That's not good. I'll have to fix that. But yeah, I think, a little bit of trial by fire, like just try to do things on your own. without tutorial resources. You can use the documentation and you can read the documentation. I would say you could even look at code from old projects. But yeah, you kind of have to go out on a limb and try to do things on your own. And that is going to come with, like, there are going to be moments where you get stuck, but that's kind of like, those are the moments where you're going to learn, is when you get stuck and then you figure out a way around that problem or through that problem. Okay, so we've got the inspector working. It's shifting the view a bunch, though. Why is that happening? Why is that happening? Maybe the scroll container is configured to be too tall? Well, let's just see. I feel like I can probably go a little bit taller than that. How long have you been doing game dev, and are you full-time? I've been doing game dev since I was 14. And I'm 31 years old now. But I've been doing this full-time for like 2 years. But I don't want to give anyone the wrong impression. It's not like I'm making a whole bunch of money doing this. Mostly just living off my savings and whatever income is coming from Gunforged and my Udemy courses as well, but trying to turn that around with Alchemortis, trying to make an actual living with this game, but we will see. We will see what happens. I wonder why. I think this margin bottom is just too much. Let's see. Is there a reason why it needs to be that big? Let's just do 8. Yeah, let's just do that. And then this scroll container, can I go back to 196? Okay, that seems to work. A little bit more room. These tooltips work. Oh, beautiful. These ones don't work because the card tooltip scene is not in the tree. But if I go and run this through the normal game startup flow, I should be able to see that just fine. Brittle bones. So I can hover over those. I can hover over the items. Yeah, that works. This header needs to change. But yeah, that works great, actually. So now I'm sharing the scene that shows the character information between here and the character select scene. The artifact here is a little bit, I mean, it's kind of redundant because you could see the tooltip here, but that's all right. Deep sea bundle, this one could probably use some love in terms of the visuals. And actually, I could probably, let me think about this. This can be bigger, actually. I can change unlock item inspector, inspector bundle. We could change the max width of the board to probably 6. What is 6 times 18? Quick. Is that 84? No, that's not even close, right? It's like 90 something. Anyway, doesn't matter. Oh yeah, that looks much better. Now it's taking up more room. Although it's setting the minimum size to 6 wide. I suppose that's all right. Maybe not. It looks a little bit weird, I suppose, but that's okay. All right, well, it's slowly getting there. It's actually getting to the point where I'd be comfortable merging this into master now. I do have to do some more testing on it, and I also want to work on the visual presentation a little bit more. I got to make these unlocks more exciting. Do you have any recommendations on a rule of thumb when it's acceptable to write a resource? It is data write, so anything non-stateful. My use case would be like a database kind of. Yeah, I mean, I guess the rule of thumb is you've got some structured data that is very predictable. So for example, in Alchemortis, I have cards / items in my game, which are, you know, these things here. And every single item has a certain set of properties, right? It has dimensions, it has art, it's got what its default cooldown is, it's got the name, the flavor text, all that stuff. So the shape of the data with respect to all cards is exactly the same. It's just that the individual data, like what the data is set to for each card, changes, right? So that's a perfect use case for a custom resource where I have all the same properties, and I want to be able to change those properties and edit those properties and configure those properties in the editor. And then I want to be able to instantiate these cards, partially at least, from those properties. And so that's a great situation for a custom resource, right? I have multiple items that all have the same data shape that I want to be configurable in the editor just for ease of use. But also, that creates a very nice workflow for me because one part of adding a new card to the game is adding a new card resource, right? And then when my systems are data-driven in the sense that when the game starts up, it can read all the card resources and then take those and put those in the loot table, right? So the card resource, the presence of the card resource is what drives the inclusion of that card in the gameplay systems. And so that becomes really nice too, because then I don't need to, it is not a necessary requirement that I have to add new code for every item that I add. Now, in practice, I do have to add new code because every item has its own set of abilities, which are defined in a script. But strictly speaking, I don't have to do that, right? I can add new items to the game that will work even if I don't change any code. So that's a really good situation to use them. And then, like I said, you could take a very data-driven approach to it where you just add resources and then your systems automatically pick that up and do whatever needs to be done with them. Any particular reason for working solo? I also do my game dev solo, but I wonder about how much more progress I could make if I had someone to handle this stuff I'm not good at. I mean, there's a couple of problems with not working solo. One, like you're going to have to compromise on the vision, especially if you're not paying the person, right? So if it's truly a collaborative effort, then it's never really going to be that you are in charge of the ultimate vision. You have to make compromises, right, with how the game goes. And that just may not work depending on the kind of person that you are, right? Like I'm the kind of person where I have generally very strong opinions about what I want to make. And so sometimes it's hard for me to, as bad as it says, sometimes it's hard for me to work with others because there's a very clear way that I want to do things. And if I can't do it that way, that can be somewhat unpleasant. So that's one thing. The other thing too is like, I can't reasonably expect somebody else, especially somebody else who's not being paid by me, to put as much effort into the game as I am, right? So, you know, I'm sitting here working on Alchemortis on an average of like 8 hours a day. I can't really expect the person I'm working with to put that much effort into the game the same as me, right? So that's another problem. Of course, a lot of these problems go away if you have the money to pay somebody, which I don't, so I can't do that. That's not an option. But yeah, I just find it easier, like, even though it is, in theory, more work, there's a lot of senses in which it's easier that I'm handling all the art and I'm handling all the sound design, in the sense of like I'm the one putting the sounds into the game, not that I'm recording all the sounds. I have a sound effects library, but there's a sense in which, like, even though I have more work to do, it's easier because I can do it all on my terms, on my timeline. I don't have to coordinate with anyone, you know, all that good stuff. I don't have to worry about, you know, somebody working at the same pace as me or working at a faster pace than me. So yeah. Hello, Emerson. Welcome back. Good to see you. In short, if you have a conformant data structure and you want reusability in systems, both in game and editor, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's right. Hello, Odosui. All right, you're just trolling me now. You're just trolling me now, but welcome back. That's all right. That makes total sense. I have the same feelings about the work dynamic, especially in regards to your second point about investment from others while unpaid. Yeah, it's just tricky, you know. And even then, you know, like, money isn't a magic solution, right? Like, even if you have the money to pay somebody, you know, hiring people is really hard. And getting somebody that actually has the skills that you're looking for, but also is going to put in the effort even while they're being paid, like, that's a lot harder to accomplish than I think a lot of people realize. So even, like, money is not a silver bullet that fixes all problems either. Like, I don't know, like, even if I had money, I probably wouldn't hire somebody to work full-time or even, like, part-time on a game of this scale, because I'd still feel like that would be more trouble than it's worth. But yeah. If you do have the ability to handle multiple areas of the game, working solo is great, assuming you have the financial runway to take your time because it will be slower. Yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. Hello, Baron for the win. Welcome. Good to see you again. We need to get these headers to change, but before I do that, let's commit what I've got. Okay. Okay, we're all committed and pushed. So now we just need to change this panel header text. Translation groups.ui, private const string UI panel header unlock inspector character. Actually, let's reverse these. UI unlock inspector panel header character. That is quite a mouthful. And then we have artifact and bundle. Header, oh. Son of a bee. Okay, this one is artifact, and this one is bundle. Okay. Okay, panel header dot text is equal to UI panel header artifact. Okay, this one is card pack, so this one needs to be bundle. And then this one is character. Okay, we need to build the C#, and then we need to build the translations, and then I found out the other day that my translation file is not formatted correctly for what the translator tools expect. But that is yet another benefit of having my translation file built with a script instead of by hand, is that it should be relatively easy to just spit out a slightly different format when I build. And the annoying thing is that Godot expects it to be one way, and then the translation tools that the translators are using expect it to be another way. So I'm basically going to have to create a tool that goes from the Godot way to the translator tool way. They're going to pass back a version of that file that was created by their translation tools, and then I need to reconvert that back into a format that Godot wants. So, but I think it should be relatively easy to do that. Hopefully. I think there are some tools online that can do this as well, but I don't know. Anyway, that's not important right now. Artifact, bundle, and character. Cool. We are good. We are Golden Pony Boy. Is that all the characters? Lich, Courier, Brittle Bones, Priestess. Brittle Bones. I love Brittle Bones. What a good character. Okay. So I do want to work on the visuals of this a little bit more. This whole scene is just a little bit too static, so I don't know if I'm going to do this on this stream, but what I may do is make the vines move a little bit, if possible. Make the vines move a little bit if possible. I kind of want to do a reveal animation as well, where instead of this tree just being here, when you click over, it just like all of these pop in and the vines grow to each connection. I think that would look really cool. And then replay the selected ones that you have. So you like go over here and like it just looks like this thing is growing and like all these vines are coming in. It would have to be relatively quick because we don't want to make the player wait for an animation every time they click over. But you know, if it's like a half a second where everything just kind of like grows back in, that would be kind of cool. I think the big things that I want to do though is I want to dim the vines that are connected to things that you can't actually reach. So you can notice how the frames are dimmed out when you can't select them. That annoys the heck out of me. Why is that happening? So we dim the vines out if they're connected in such a way that you can't reach the node. So that should hopefully make this screen a little bit easier to read as well. And then the other problem is I want to, when I unlock things, the vines need to grow in a direction. Because if I do this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then I click here, it grows from that way to that way instead of this way to this way. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. That's gonna, because it's a shader that does that reveal, so that I may have to like actually change the shader code to accept like a reverse parameter or something. Let's start with darkening the lines though. So we'll create a new method in here called update state. I may need to do something else here. Has some unlocked connections. Oh. If item A has some unlocked connections is not equal to true, item B that has some unlocked conditions is not equal to true. We're going to do visual utilities dim set dim. What is this? This is of the normal line. Yeah. Oh, well, this is just the root. It's just attached to the root. So we're just going to say set dim of this to 1, else. Yeah, else we're just going to say material equals null. Okay, but also on unlocked, where is this happening? Oh, I'll just call update state in here. And actually, this is not going to work, actually. Unlock tree item unlocked. So I may have to do this. Register unlock tree lines. For each var item in this, no, in lines root. Why am I doing this? This can be get children of type unlock tree line. We'll do, let's just rename this to line. We want to do line register tree this. And we're going to want to put that in here. Okay. Have you ever tried GD extension or just C# and GD script with or without GD extension? I have a GD extension right now for Steam, but that's the extent of my usage of GD extensions. I would like to look into those more, because it seems very useful. Especially if I can figure out if there's a usage for me to create GD extensions myself. But, yeah. Yeah, I just have the Steam GD extension. Godot Steam. So Godot Steam is typically for GD script, but there are C# wrappers. And the C# wrappers are made with GD extension or something like that. Let me see. Godot Steam. Yeah, there's a GD extension here. Where are the C# wrappers? Is that in here? No, this is just GD, so this is the Godot Steam the GD extension. Where are the C# wrappers? Did I get rid of that? Oh, I may have gotten rid of it. Oh yeah, I think I did get rid of it. So the C# wrappers. So yeah, so this GD extension is just a standard GD extension for Steam, which basically just includes all the Steam API libraries that you need when you export. And then there are some various other nice things. Of course, I think maybe a lot of you are familiar with Godot Steam. But I think my plan was I'll just create my own wrapper classes when I need to use some functionality from Godot Steam. Like, so my interfacing with the Steam API is going to be basically I will write my own C# wrapper that will call the underlying Godot GD script code, which, you know, it's not ideal because there's a lot of like C# Steam API projects. I don't know what I want to call it, like Steam API libraries for C#. Facepunch.steamworks is one. There was another one too that I used one time. But the problem with that is that then you need to still include the Steam libraries. So like the DYLib and the DLL, the Steam API DLL, you'll still need to include that in your own export, which is possible. It's just a little bit annoying. So, but the GD extension here copies those over to my exports for me automatically, which is nice. So I'd rather write the wrappers for the Steam API myself than deal with copying over those Steam API libraries. Tried GD extension to try using Modbus libraries, but the C++ kept slowing me down since I know so little of that language. Isn't there a plan to make GD extensions writable in C#, or maybe I'm getting that mixed up? I know there's a plan to move the C# integration to a GD extension. I think that's like a long-term plan. Their goal is to release just one version of Godot, and then if you want C# support, you just install like the Godot C# GD extension. That would be really nice, but I thought I heard somewhere too that GD extensions were going to be like you'll be able to create them with C#, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Like I said, I don't know much about that system, so Okay, let's see if this works. I am skeptical, but we'll see. It did not work. Why didn't that work? Well, I guess we'll just debug. I don't know what exactly is null here. Unlock graph is null. How is that possible? Where is this being called from? Oh. Update state is called, okay. Update state is called here and ready before everything's been wired up. Well, that's unfortunate. We'll just call update state after we register the tree then. That's fine. This whole thing is a mess because I have like the lines need to know about the nodes that they're connected to, and then there's the tree, which knows about the nodes and the lines. Okay, anyway. There we go. Why did those ones... Oh, I need to change this a little bit. Item A. Item A and item B. These ones should not be... Maybe this is wrong. Has some unlocked connections. Graph node, all connections. Oh. It really has some unlocked connections. All connections.any. Unlock model, unlock tree items ID, refresh state. Is that right? So, wait a minute. It's saying if has some unlocked connections. Oh, it's checking all of them. Right. I actually think this should be changed. This needs to be simplified, or not simplified, but changed. I want this to dim if both ends, if both of the nodes that it's connecting to, the line is connecting to, are not unlocked, right? So if item A is unlocked is not equal to true and item B is unlocked is not equal to true. I think that's actually the logic that I want. Because as it stands right now, I'm basically saying if this one has any connections that are unlocked and this one has any connections that are unlocked, then don't dim it. But that's not what I want, right? I want to say only undim it if one of the two nodes are already unlocked. So that was just a logic error on my part. That's all right. Hello, Opa Pacheco Dev. Welcome. What are your big weekend plans? Well, just working on the unlock tree some more. And then... Oh, that looks pretty good, actually. Tomorrow, I mean, Sundays are usually my day with my wife. So I usually don't do a whole lot of work on Sundays. But, yeah. To the extent that I can work, it will just be on this dang unlock tree. Are you watching the World Cup? I am not, no. I am not. I am American after all. No. I'm just generally not interested in sports. That may come as a shock to all of you. Maybe I'm ahead of myself here, but shouldn't the blocked content be a bit darker? Yeah, so I haven't done any work with the icons yet because I still need to figure out how I want to represent these things. So all of these icons are sort of work in progress. I think the artifact icons are going to stay, but I still need to figure out what to do about the item bundles. And then also what to do about the characters. Like, I need different icons for those. I was thinking, oh, I could just put the characters in the little frame here, but that doesn't end up working. The other thing that was suggested is to, this was in the Discord, make the character unlocks bigger and more prominent. So like make them a bigger circle or something. And then I could also have a different shape for the item bundles as well. So yeah, I still haven't figured out like what I'm gonna do about the icons. I still don't know what I'm gonna do about the icons. But I think generally speaking, this UI is coming together. I shouldn't be able to right click on anything that's not immediately unlockable either. So maybe I can do that next. Dim lines that are not connected to unlockables. Okay. Unlock tree item. Right click. So where is that? Alternate clicked. It's not in here? Could have sworn it was in here. Huh? On item alternate clicked. Am I just like... Ah. Yeah, so what I need to do in here is actually... alternate clicked plus equals on alternate clicked. Yeah. Private void on alternate clicked. If not is click valid. We will to do blah. No, we want to show an error and return. Otherwise, we will do signal public delegate void inspect requested event handler. We'll omit this. So is click valid, clickable validators all. Where's my clickable validator? Is valid. Okay. Where is that being set? Oh, there. Okay. So if not is click valid, that's fine. Otherwise, we're going to emit signal inspect requested. And then we're going to change this up here. Unlock tree. Connect to inspect requested. On inspect requested. On item inspect requested. On item inspect requested. Okay. Hopefully that works. Okay, so yeah, I can't inspect those anymore until I get farther down the tree. So what I will do though is I will show a tooltip that says what the type of the thing is. But beyond that, like, you won't be able to inspect it until you actually get to the point where you can unlock it. And, you know, if that doesn't work, we can change it later. But I think the idea is if the player knows generally what content they're going to get, they can work toward that content. But the exact content that they'll get will be unlocked as you progress down the tree. And if that doesn't work, we'll change it. Like, I may just make it so that way you can always inspect what you're going to get. So yeah, all this stuff is highly subject to change for sure. Bigger would definitely be a good idea, make them stand out more as unlocks. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. Don't know much of game programming, but I've heard people using GitHub to do save code versions. How do you do that with Godot nodes? So Git is a version control system that is primarily designed to store the change history of text files. So it's not just for code, like, and it's not really just for text files either. You can use Git for binary files, but principally what it's for is it's for version control, storing history of text files and how they change over time. And code is obviously a text file, but so are all of the Godot files. So when I save a scene, this gets saved in this file. This is my unlock tree item scene. So this text file defines this structure here. So all of this, every single bit of this configuration is stored in here, in this text file that Godot creates for you. So because it's a text file, it's very easy to just store the diffs of this file. So if I go in and change the scene, right, if I just delete one of these things, Git is going to pick up that difference automatically. See, it says, oh, this block of text has been deleted, so there you go. And then it stores that new version, right? So that's how it works in a nutshell. And that's how it works with Godot. Because the scene structures are they're not binary data. Well, everything's binary data, but you know what I mean. You're a good teacher. You should sell some courses. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Hello, Rin. Welcome back. Good to see you. Got it. That's really cool. Thanks. You're welcome. You are welcome. All right. I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we'll just keep fiddling around with this, I guess. I'm trying to think of what like the next best thing to work on when I get back would be. I think I do want to work on like the visual presentation and the animations and stuff. So yeah, we'll just do that kind of thing then. Yeah. Feeling better? I am, thank you. I am. Hello, Ninja Link. Welcome back. Good to see you. All right, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we will... Why does this keep happening? Hold on a second. Why is this happening? Well, this is a tool script that's designed to change the label. I think maybe the label is not... Maybe the label is just not available. Return, and then we'll just make sure to update the text after it's got a reference to the label. I don't know, maybe that will fix it. Okay, I'll be right back in just 3 minutes and we will continue on. Okay. It's me again. So for the unlock tree item, let's do another thing here. We're going to connect to invalid clicked here. Plus equals on invalid clicked. Private void on invalid clicked. We are going to, let me think about this. Unlock. Frame root. Well, I was thinking I would do frame root dot create invalid shake tween, but that is not going to work. Because this frame root is at -1, not 0, 0. I guess I could make it at 0, 0 and then move this back. I guess that would work. So frame root create invalid shake tween, and then we want to create an announcement. So let's do translation string. I'm gonna need 2 announcements actually, but we'll just say cannot unlock group translation groups dot announcements. Okay. Private const string announcement unlock item error. Oops. So do that, and then let's do another translation string. Cannot inspect group translation groups announcements. Announcement unlock item. We'll call this one inspect error. That should work. Okay. Frame root dot create invalid shake tween announcements dot create announcement UI or no announcement inspect error, and then down here we want to do announcements create announcement unlock item error. All right, let's take a gander at this one. Oh, Emerson, did you just hop into the stream? Or were you here earlier? Anyway, welcome back, Emerson. Good to see you. Oops, I'm not seeing announcements. Is that because I'm not... Oh, it's showing up behind... Right, it's showing up behind the unlock menu. Oh, that's a little bit unfortunate. Is there a reason for that? Is there a reason why that's the case? Well, that's not a great place for the announcement there. I may need to eventually allow myself to pass in extra arguments to the announcement so I can change the position on screen. The other thing I need to do is show how many unlock points you have. Yeah, there's quite a few things that need to be done here. Let's see if we can get the thing growing in the other direction, though. I need to be able to reverse the grow direction. So maybe that will be the next thing I need to figure out. I keep closing the unlock menu. I want to keep this. Okay, so this material here, well, I guess it's, where is the material? Oh, it's in the material property. Look at that. Okay, unlock tree line. Well, this is just going to take some fiddling, I guess. So let's put the progress value, let's just put it up so it's halfway through the line. Actually, let's make it a quarter of the way through the line. What happens if I just do 1.0 minus this? Does that work? Oh, Godot crashed. Cool. Oh, it's back. Oh, that's it. Did I do it right? Wow, look at that. Look, Mom, I have a big brain. All right, well, that works. So basically, I need to make this a shader uniform, though. Why does it keep... This keeps hitching. It's okay. We'll wait. Okay. Uniform. Okay, what is going on here? Okay, we're just gonna... What is it going on? Oh, it's putting 16,000 errors in the console. That's not good. Okay. Uniform float. Reverse. Hint range. This one, we're going to do a mix of, oh, there it goes again. Maybe I'll just restart Godot. Is it because this is a tool script? Is that what's happening? Yep. Okay, let's just save and quit. Okay, this is going to be mix posts 1.0 minus posts, and then this is going to be by reverse. So essentially, this will take the original position value. If reverse is 0, if reverse is 1, it will take 1 minus the position value. And then we need to pass that in here. So this needs to become adjusted posts. Adjusted position, I don't like this. We are going to be verbose. Gee, dang it. Okay. So if I turn the progress value up, but then I say reverse is true, it goes to the other side. Perfect. All right. So now it's just a matter of getting that uniform configured properly in the code. So let's just grab that to start. Private static read-only string name. What is called this shader reverse. Okay. I don't know which one was unlocked, do I? And I also don't know, is item A... Let me look at how this is configured in my unlock tree. The way that I think it should be is that item A is the node that has the outgoing connection to item B. Yes, outgoing connections. Yeah, so this is item A. The line that is connected from item A to item B represents the outgoing connection from item A to item B. So that's good. That means that I can listen for each of these individually. So I can say, on item A unlocked and on item B unlocked. Okay, let's just do on item A unlocked, private void on item B unlocked. Do I want to put a bool reverse in here? Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Play unlock. Also, yeah, that's fine. Okay. So if reverse is true, set shader parameter. of shader reverse to 1. Oh, this is if reverse. Oops. Okay. Let's see if that does it. That is not correct. Also, I have some debugger errors. Object reference not set to an instance of object. That's probably related to... Okay, so my logic is wrong here. On item B unlocked. Actually, is that even what... hold on a second. So wait a minute. So in this case, I went up this way. So this is item A to item B. This is item A to item B. So in this case, this actually doesn't have... Oh, okay. So this doesn't have an outgoing connection to this one. This one has an outgoing connection to that one. So on item B unlocked. So that would be this one. It needs to play from here to here. But in the case of item A being unlocked, what am I doing wrong here? I'm sure it's something very simple, but I just need to think about it a little bit. Let's see. So if I do this, yeah, that should not happen. So in this case, that's item A being unlocked. So it's playing the unlock on item A unlock. Okay, so this is not actually as simple as I thought it would be. Let's put this logic back. So this here, this has to go back this way. Okay. That will handle the standard case. So here, boom, and then boom. But that went reverse because item B was unlocked. So that's just going the wrong way now because of this item B unlocked. Maybe I just want to handle, hold on a second. Let me just get rid of this. Maybe I don't even want to listen for item B unlocked. Maybe I just want to listen for item A unlocked. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do actually. Right? So I do this. Oh, it's not even working anymore. Let's do the other thing then. I think the core problem is that every line is related to 2 nodes, right? That means that this is item A for this line, but it's item B for this line. Okay. Yeah, see, that shouldn't happen. So why is that happening? So I say, now hold up just a second. What is good? I'm getting all tangled up. This should be relatively simple. So why did it do that? So item A got unlocked, or item B got unlocked, right? I'm listening for item B now. So item B gets unlocked. So it says, okay, play that reveal. Item B gets unlocked. Okay, but the problem is this is item B for this one and that one. Okay, so we'll just add that little extra piece of logic. We're just gonna handle this one case at a time because apparently this logic is too simple for me to understand. All right, so let's see. We go here, we go there, we go there. Okay, perfect. Now what happens if I do this one? It doesn't do anything. Okay, so what is happening in this case, right? In this case, it's listening for item B unlock this line. So this line is sensing that this is unlocked, but because this one hasn't been unlocked, it doesn't draw the line here. Right, okay. So in this case, what I want to listen for is I want to listen for item A unlock and then say, if item B is already unlocked, we want to reverse and play, right? So when item A is unlocked, what we want to say is if item B unlocked is not equal to false, we want to play unlock with reverse true. I'm sure that's going to be a problem now because, well, maybe not actually. Oh, there we go. Did it work? Okay. Okay. All right. Yes. I spent my last couple of brain cells on that, but we are good now. So now I can go back up the tree and the animation goes the right way. Yeah. Okay. We are good with that. Now, what happens though if I click, oh. No, it should still work. It should grow out from both directions, I think. So if I get into this state where I can unlock one that's connected on both sides, it should play in the correct direction both times, I believe. So let's see. Do I have enough points to actually do that? Nope, that didn't work. Oh, well, maybe it did. Actually, I think in this case, I want it to grow outward from this one. So that's that's a third case now, right? So what is happening in this case? In this case, item A of this line is already... Oh, the lines don't know about each other, though. That's the problem. So this line can listen for item B unlocked, and this item can listen for item A unlocked. And so I'm assuming that, oh, I need to grow in this direction, and then I need to grow in this direction. But so these two lines don't know about each other. They share a node, but they don't know that they share a node. So I can't, when this item gets unlocked, I have to, from each line, basically say, what do I have to say? So I want it to grow from this one to this one, or no, if I want to grow it outward, I have to look at this line's item B and say, is that unlocked? Wait, so this is confusing. Item B gets unlocked for this one, for this line. What I want to do is I want to say, if item B already has an unlocked outgoing connection, then I want to reverse it. Right? When working with directed graphs, I like to use source and target rather than A and B. Helps my brain. Yeah, the thing is, this is like a quasi-directed graph. I mean, I do have like outgoing edges, but then I also have just like, I can look at any edge. But maybe the name change would help. I already went the wrong way. I'm not really getting confused by the name, I'm getting confused by the logic. So if I do this, okay, so on item B unlocked. Item B has any unlocked connections is equal to item B has some unlocked connections is equal to true. Play unlock reverse. Item B has any unlocked connections, right? So that should solve it in the case for this line here, right? So I should see this grow outward to that one. Okay, now I just need to reverse this case. So this case would be this case would be item A. So that's listing for item A unlocked. And it needs to reverse it. If item B is already unlocked. Now hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. So when I unlock this, that's on item A unlocked. So that's item A for this line. I need it to go outward. Wait, why doesn't it go outward to begin with? Oh, because it's listing for item B unlocked. Oh. No, this is always item A. I think I would just do the same thing. right? I would just do this. Item A has any unlocked connections. Not item A has any unlocked connections. I don't know. I feel like, oh yeah, I just broke it. That's not necessarily going to work either, though, is it? This one, actually, I think is a little bit trickier. Actually, now I'm doubting if this is even correct. Oh wait, I just broke those, generally speaking. Maybe I just don't have... Maybe I just don't have enough information to do it this way. I didn't even realize that that was broken. Well, whatever. I don't know if I need to address that situation. This situation is weird because it's going to be firing both of these for this line. It's going to be firing item B unlock. No, now wait a minute. Item B unlock. Do I have enough information to do this? I feel like I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I guess I could just keep it. I mean, it's not that big of a deal to have the lines going from here to here. I just think it would feel more natural if the lines grew out this way. In this case. But maybe not. Maybe I should just keep it the way it is and not worry about it. It does bother me, though, that I didn't figure this out, because it seems like it should be easy, right? What is actually happening in this case? Item B gets... So this line listens for item B. It says if item A is unlocked is not equal to false, then we play unlock in the normal direction, which is this way. But why do we need to reverse it in this case? The reason we need to reverse it in this case is because one of the outgoing... Well, it wouldn't even be one of the outgoing connections, right? No, yeah, it would be one of the outgoing connections of this node is already unlocked, right? I think maybe the problem here is that this is looking at all connections. What I need to restrict this to has some unlocked outgoing connections, right? And then this would essentially just be a copy pasta of this, but with outgoing connections instead of all connections. And then in here, what I would do is I would say, has any unlocked outgoing connections. And then I would say reverse is equal to item B has any unlocked outgoing connections. That's probably the part that I was missing. Because otherwise, it would detect that it was already connected to this one, but that's not correct. So we do this. That grow direction is still working. Okay. So now this one is listening for item B. But in this case, we want to reverse it. We want to reverse it. Why? Because item B has some outgoing connections that are already unlocked, right? So it is the reversal of this logic. Item A has any unlocked outgoing connections. And we want to reverse if not item A has any unlocked outgoing connections. Okay. Did I do it? Okay, that's still growing in the correct direction. That one did not grow in the correct direction. That might just be a problem with the data structure, though. It may be the case that I've marked this as an outgoing connection to this one, rather than this having an outgoing connection here. Oh no, that's broken too. Oh yeah, I guess in this case... Well, I fixed it here, but now it's not fixed there. Yeah, this may be one of those things where it's just like, I guess it's just ambiguous sometimes what's actually happening. That doesn't sound right to me, though. This is probably marked as an outgoing connection. I could check that. It's probably the case that... if I had to guess, the cloak is pointing to the ring. Where is my cloak? Nope, it's not. So the ring has an outgoing connection to the cloak. Item A has any unlocked? Yeah, Yeah, so the problem is, by the time I unlock this, it does have an outgoing connection. Yeah, so this case is still wrong, actually. On either node unlock, if the other node is already unlocked, animate from it. Is that not right? I mean, that's the core logic. It's just how do I express that in code, right? Like, the core tension here is defining what animate from it means, right? Because when I'm animating from something, I need to set a shader parameter to reverse the progress value. And so I need to determine when to reverse the shader parameter. But it's like it's a directed graph, so I need to know if it's already going in the right direction versus if it needs to be reversed. Might be easier to check distance from world space rather than use data. I need to go make dinner and stuff. Have a great night and good luck. Thank you. I hope you have a good night as well. Yeah, I actually don't think there's a way for me to do this, because if I go this way... Actually, what happens if I go... This might just be... I think I just don't have enough information. I don't think I can actually do what I want to do here. So I go this way, this way, this way, and that way. That grows from that direction. But if I say item B is already unlocked, yeah, so wait, I am handling that situation. If item B is already unlocked, so this is item B for this line, it's already unlocked, so it reverses. But if I go the other way, it grows that direction. So why doesn't it work in this case? If item B is already unlocked, oh, item B is already unlocked and item A, I think no, this is fudge. Am I storing incoming connections? I am. So I just need to do another copy pasta, I think. Has some unlocked incoming connections. Wow, I should figure out how to unify those. But item A has any unlocked incoming connections. Did I finally get it? Let's see. I'm deathly afraid that this is not going to work. Oh, look at that. It worked. Wow. It only took 45 minutes, but we did it. I think. I don't know. Is there any other... So there's a situation here where this is connected like a bunch of times. So let's see, if I go this way and I connect to this one and I go that way, it grows that way. If I grow that way, it grows that way. I don't have another point to spend. I think that's... I should probably give myself... Actually, do I need more points? Or is there fewer options if I go this way? Yeah, if I go this way, I think I might have an extra point. No. No, it's the same number of nodes. Okay. Let me just go ahead and cheat myself. Challenge. What did I call it? Unlock registry? No. Unlock challenge factory, ritual items, combat victory. Let's just grab acquire undead cards. Don't tell me I already have this one. Okay. So give myself 2 more points. I finally did it, everybody. I think. Actually, let's do this. Yeah, so this is a weird case too, but that's okay. Yeah, that case is fine. Oh wait, no, that one, right, because these are 2 incoming connections here, but there was nothing connected over here. So if I really wanted to test it, I still don't think I have enough. I would need to go this way, and I don't have an extra point. I need 1 more point. Okay. I should probably just put a debug tool in place so that I can just have infinite points, but I have not gotten to that point yet. Oh wait, did I do this wrong? I think I grabbed the Manticore Stinger when I shouldn't have. Okay, and then this. Yeah, I mean, I really don't understand that case, but that's okay. I don't really think it's worth the effort to figure that one out. I'm just happy with this now, where that grows outward from the center. This one, because it has so many connections, I don't think it really matters. Anyway, the moral of the story is it works now. Okay, change animation direction based on unlock state. At what point in design, prototyping, and development did you decide you were going to commit to the Alchemortis idea? It was pretty early on. I think, you know, I actually prototyped like 1 or 2 other games before I started working on Alchemortis. And so, I mean, it's hard to say because it's mostly just like a feel thing. I spent a couple of weeks on the other prototype ideas, and Alchemortis just seemed to be immediately more interesting, both from a theme perspective, but also from a gameplay perspective. So I think it helps that I had multiple prototypes to compare to, and I was able to see very clearly that one of them had more potential and more intrigue, I guess. More interesting things about it than the other options. But also, I was streaming, so I had a bunch of people who were watching the streams of me prototyping Alchemortis who were coming in and saying like, oh, this sounds like a really interesting idea, or like, I love the art style already. And those things helped too, like to give me some idea of whether this game had potential or not. And so, like, a combination of all those things helped me decide that, yeah, Alchemortis is the thing I'm going to commit to. But yeah, I really think the decision becomes easier when you prototype a bunch of different ideas that you have in your mind. Just spend like a couple of weeks at most prototyping them, and usually you could tell pretty quickly whether there's something there or not. Especially if you have other prototypes that you just worked on to compare to, right? Because you'll be able to notice like which prototypes you had more fun making and which prototypes were more interesting conceptually, and like which prototypes had better just like art direction generally, right? Because I even chose, like, I did different art styles for the game, the other prototype games that I made, compared to Alchemortis. But I think, honestly, you know, like, I think one of the prototypes I think just wouldn't have worked, so I'm not going to pursue that one again. But there's another prototype that I made, which I still would like to revisit someday. It's just Alchemortis was just a clearly better option. Were you already doing game dev full-time while prototyping? Yeah. So I started full-time game dev before Gunforged launched. And for those that are unaware of this story, I was full-time employed as a software engineer. I was working at a startup. The startup ran out of money, so I lost my job. But I was almost done with Gunforged, and I wanted to try to make a career in game development work. So I just decided to take that opportunity. Released Gunforged. While I was technically a full-time indie dev, I guess you could say. And then I've been working on those prototypes and Alchemortis ever since. But Alchemortis is the make or break moment. Like, if Alchemortis doesn't do that well, then back to the workforce for me. But I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case. What I want for Alchemortis at the bare minimum is to allow me to continue doing this for at least another handful of years, so I can try again to make a very, very profitable game, but we'll see. We don't always get what we want, do we? All right. Anyway, that's going to be it for the stream for today. Thank you all for joining this bonus stream. If you're interested, you can wishlist Alchemortis on Steam. Do I have any source of income at the moment? Yeah, so I've got Gunforged is still doing some sales. I've got YouTube, which is not a lot. Twitch, which is also not a lot. But my Udemy courses are still selling pretty well. So that's where the bulk of my monthly income is coming from. But I am using my savings to fund myself largely as well. So yeah, it's a combination of all of those things. So yeah, that's that. Alchemortis doesn't give you enough runway. Do you think you'll continue game dev? Yeah, I will. It just will have to be in more of a hobby capacity. You know, it'll be more like just working on in the evenings and whatnot. Or, you know, maybe I go to work for a year and save up as much money as possible and then try again. I don't know. It's hard to say. But I would probably still do game development, yeah. All right. Thanks again, everyone. Appreciate your support. And yeah, have a great weekend. I'll be back Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay. Bye-bye.